Welcome to another video on Keeping Things Civil YouTube channel. This video will discuss a software that's called FloorFraming. This software is free. You can download it from the AIC website, Steel Tools. The link can be found in the description. If you're a young engineer or starting to work with steel projects, you'll find this software very helpful. So when you open up the software, this is the window that you're going to have. You can see the instructions, pretty straightforward instructions, and then you can enter the floor framing. Now, usually I start with the shape database and I exclude some beams that I don't want the software to select. And again, I go to the girders and exclude some beams. You have the design method. So we use the AIC 2010 LRFD with the ASC 710, and I usually don't allow for light load reduction. This is, this mainly depends on your local code. You can edit the bay length and the bay width and the number of the expanse. So if I put 3 here, I'm going to have 3 beams that are going to be framing into the girder. Now, you have to pay attention that this panel is the interior panel, so you have to pay attention to that. And then we can go to the floor slab. Now, before I go on, I need to address some things. There are some issues with this software. You can use it if you have very heavy wall partitions, because it doesn't have an input for linear loads. So that's one thing. And another thing is that it assumes that the girders are completely braced, which may not be the case. Anyways, so you can choose shored or unshored construction. You can specify the studs diameter, the slab thickness, and usually when selecting the slab thickness, you have to conform to 2 things: the ACI minimum thickness requirement for deflection and the AISC requirements for composite beams. So you have to, go according to these requirements. Now, when we go into member design criteria, I usually specify the girders as non-composite, and I don't allow them to be cambered. You can allow them to be cambered. It really depends on your project. And usually the girders are not considered to be composite because they will run parallel to the steel deck reps, which makes it difficult to install steel studs on site. Now, I'm going to use 50 KSI yield strength. Vibration, you can find this in the AIC vibration guide. These are constants, basically. You can find them from the AIC constants and limits, basically. You can find them from the AIC guide for flow vibration. And then when I design, I basically select the cost per pound of member and usually go with steel weight for optimization. Now let's run the analysis, and it's going to automatically tell you the combination of girders and beams with their cost and their weight. So that's very, very powerful. We can go into view calculation details, and then you can select the panel, basically the combination, for example. So let's say I'm going to go with this one, which is the lightest one, really. The W21 by 44. So let's go to 21 by 44 with the W24 by 68. And then we click on view panel details. Now you can go to deflections, you can go to vibrations, and it tells me here that the peak acceleration is 0.411% of the gravity. So that's fine, that's okay. For residential buildings, you're going to have to go to the IAC flow vibration guide to check this. And then we can go to the beam and select W21 by 44, which we already selected, this one. And then view beam details, and it shows deflections. So deflection is L over 241. So this may not be okay. So we want to increase the beam depth. So maybe select something like W24 by 55. It does give you the strength of the beam, also. So it says here that the available composite moment strength is 640. The required can be found from here, so 320. So I have so much moment capacity. I have, as a non-composite beam, it has 358. So basically, as a non-composite beam, I'm safe, let alone being composite. The percentage of composite action is 46. You have to pay attention to something that I didn't really address. When choosing the composite action, the minimum is usually specified to be 50, because in the AIC it says that the minimum composite percentage should be 50%. So you have to pay attention to this. I usually specify 50 because I don't want to use a lot of studs, which may be a little bit difficult to construct. So you can then go back and go further into details of the beams and further into details for the beams and the girders. So that's it really. If you find this video helpful, hit the like button and subscribe, and hopefully I'm gonna make another video on this software because it's very versatile, and I'm going to check some of the results that it does provide. So that's it. Thanks for watching as always, and like, share and subscribe.